Hi guys, it's Kathy. I hope you're doing well. We had a great stream last night. It was really cool. Thank you everyone who came out on our off hours, on your off shift. Yep, with no notice. You just came out. Ball Talk with Mike stopped by. Bill stopped by. Credence and Mikey stopped by. It was really good. All right. But now it's time. Look. There he is. Here we go. He is it's stressing me out because he's not allowed to pass this computer and his whole body except for that one leg is past that computer. He's about to break the rules though, and the judge lets him.
After you did that, who was with?
This is a quick summary for anybody new. Texas A&M was doing construction and had a death on the workplace. A crane fell over, and the air conditioning unit that the crane was lifting crushed a man. His wife is right here. It's a civil trial, so she's suing. But there's like 3 different people she could sue: the owner of the air conditioner unit, the operator of the crane, or the general contractor of the construction site. TNT is the crane operator, and that's who they are suing. So this is TNT's lawyer. The wind probably didn't do it. Just going to put that out there. The wind probably was not the culprit. Even though they keep talking about wind and the load being top heavy and the wind pushing it over, that's probably not what happened. Poor Jen.
I know Carl lived with us that morning.
Okay.
I have a gray area.
After you take that equipment to the 4th floor, then what happened?
We started to, we were instructed on how to set up. We had to set up borders as far as nobody could enter our perimeter, where to place anchors and stuff like that.
And who did that instructing?
David Laurie.
And then what happened?
We waited for the equipment to show up.
Did you ever, were you ever asked anything about skates or wood pieces?
Skates or wood pieces? I know we had skates. I don't know about wood pieces.
And whose skates were they?
Ways.
And who was responsible for choosing what skates to use?
I have no idea.
Who made the order to use those skates?
David Laurie presented them to us, so.
Did you notice whether the skates were rotating skates or could they be locked in a straight manner?
I believe the casters were rotating.
Did you have to cut any pipe that day?
I didn't, but we needed pipe. David told us we needed to, how we were going to do it. We were going to get the unit and put it on the nursery pad and put pieces of pipe under there and push it to get it in place.
And when you said David, that was Mr. Lorraine?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Your Honor, can I have the witness step down? Or to go through the accident at the scene?
Any objection from the plaintiff?
Not sure. I don't know what he's asking. Well, if Kim's gonna read it out on the board, I think he can sit there for that.
Okay.
You want to bring it closer to him?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, you can do that.
Don't go past that computer, sir. Don't do it. Don't do it. That thing has 5 wheels and barely rolls. There he goes right past the computer.
All right.
Oh no.
Do you see this?
I believe, sir.
Okay. Be clear. Can you stand up and take a peek at these skates?
I can barely see it. Those are the ones from that day.
Okay. And you don't recall the wood?
No, sir.
Okay. We've been using this, at least the defendants have been using this during this trial. And I want you to, if the crane is on the ground over here. Right, so this would be,
So that would be the back of the building's dirty area on the, right?
right. Okay. And so this would be the first entry point and where the two skates went on successfully, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, can you tell us where you were? Is this where you were?
Yes, sir.
Somewhere around in here? And who was responsible?
All right, the crane is here, and the skates. Is this where you were?
An earlier procedure before it tipped over, for this skate right here.
Francisco,
Okay, and who was responsible for this one right here?
Lexus.
And you were responsible for this one?
As they were bringing it in, those two guys were putting them under there.
Okay, so Mr. Montalego and Mr. Alexis Perez set these skates first and then just walked back to do the balance,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay. And where was Mr. Larray during the whole time?
Walking around, looking at the unit, make sure everything was good.
Was he inside or outside the safety tank?
I think he was moving around both inside and outside.
Okay.
Red
We know
says they barely
it
roll.
ends up approximately in this area.
Yes, sir.
Fair point.
Yes, sir.
Who is Billy Baldwin?
He was a pipe fitter,
Who did you work for?
Way Engineering,
And where was Billy located?
to the right of me.
Right in here?
Yes, sir.
You see, we got the PB for Billy Baldwin.
Okay.
Okay. And you heard that TNT had a spotter up there, correct?
A spotter.
I'm sorry. Great question. Signal person.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And had you met that signal person ever before?
No, sir.
Worked with him before?
Never.
Where was he located?
He would be outside of that picture. There was a column, and we had a red parameter tape. He was on the outside of the parameter tape, keeping visual with his crane and David. He was instructed, so.
Okay. And so if this is the beam, he would be somewhere right here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And was he in charge of the floor?
No, sir.
Who was in charge of the floor?
David Lord.
Who were you taking orders from?
David Lord.
Did you take any orders or would you take any orders from this?
Hi, court shorts. I know steaks are delicious.
Mr. Garcia is the TNT signal person.
No, sir.
That wouldn't make sense to have one lone TNT signal person giving orders for the entire way mechanical or way engineering group, correct?
Yes, sir.
Did you know how Mr. Perez came to be on the job site?
Perez.
Alexis Perez.
Do I know what?
Do you know how he got to be on this job?
No, sir.
Okay, and you haven't heard any testimony here with respect to this case. You just got in yesterday, right?
Correct.
Okay. And there's been some testimony in this case about who is in charge of the signal person. Who was giving the orders to the signal person so he could convey them down to the crane?
David.
Did you hear David doing this throughout the course of the lift?
Yes, sir.
Okay. At any time, did you hear Mr. Garcia giving any orders or instructions to Mr. Larray?
Excuse me?
Did it go the other way? I mean, with Mr. Garcia giving orders?
Oh, no, sir. No, sir. Absolutely not.
Okay. Was there anyone else giving any orders or directions or supervising the jobs the job site except for Mr. Leroy.
David Laurie, no.
And so tell us what happened once did the unit fly up there okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then from the time it flew up there and got on these first two skates, that went okay, right?
Yes, sir.
And then tell us, if you would, what happened and what occurred after these first two skates had been seated and begun to move.
Billy and I started tugging on the equipment that we had anchored on the floor as
Those-
instructed.
Are those called come-alongs?
One of them was a come along, one of them was a chain fall.
Who used the come-along?
Billy?
And is this the come-along right here?
Yes, sir.
Now, we've heard testimony in this case that that come-along may have been anchored at an angle, correct?
Yes, sir.
What was your recollection of that?
As what you said.
Okay, in other words, that the anchor point for the come-along was not in
And
line with the unit or the skates, but was closer towards the edge of the building.
yes, sir. It was offset.
Leading.
Sustained.
Yes, sir. It was an
Sorry, oh,
offset.
sorry, when I sustain it, don't answer.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Next question. Go to the next question or rephrase question.
Can you tell us whereabouts in relation to the unit that the come-along was anchored?
It was offset
Offset in which direction?
off to the outside of the unit.
Would it be fair to say that it, in the direction that the unit took over? Correct. Okay. And while we're at this point, before we go any further, what was the wind like that day?
It was a clammy day. It was not, I mean, there was wind, but nothing crazy.
Do you feel there was enough wind to knock over this unit?
No, sir.
Okay. And so and you were here with chain falls?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And how far, and how was the unit being pulled into the building once it got seated on the skates?
But after I got seated, it was we were pushing them and with the come along and the chain fall.
Okay, so someone was pushing it, you were pulling on the chain fall, Mr. Baldwin was pulling on the come on?
Yes, sir. But my chain fall got disconnected. David Laurie took that chain fall off.
What do you mean?
He unhooked it.
Why?
Oh, it was binding up
Why was it binding up?
because the chain falls ain't meant to be used like that.
And who ordered you, who instructed you to use the chain fall?
That's the equipment they provided.
Who provided it?
David Laurie.
And who disengaged this connection on this side?
It'd be David Laurie.
After he disconnected it, what did you do?
I stepped back. As far as I know, my job's over. Once they disconnect my job, I'm stepping back.
Were you asked to do anything else?
No, sir. Well, I mean, once that skate came undone, they asked me to go over there, but I didn't have the right safety equipment to go over there.
And what are you talking about when you say when that skate came undone? First of all, which skate?
The right or front right. Yes, sir.
This one?
Yes, sir.
And do you know why it became undone?
No, sir.
Did you see did you see how the skate and the wheels were set?
I just saw a skate after I stepped back and they kept pulling on it, Billy. You know, everybody was told to stop because that skate head came out. Francisco had said. So
And what happened then?
everybody stopped and they attempted to put the skate back under there.
Who attempted to put that skate back under?
Francisco was trying, but he couldn't do it. So David Laurie went over there.
And what who asked Mr. Francisco Montalongo to try and fix that skate?
14 days, Zach,
Excuse me?
14
Who
days.
asked Francisco Montalongo to try and fix the skate?
David Laurie.
And then Mr. Lori went over them himself?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
He was struggling and we were trying to get it in there.
And during the time they were trying to get this gate in, what was Mr. Baldwin doing?
He's still manning that come along.
Was it come along slack or was it tight?
He had tension on it.
And was he pulling it?
Ratcheting it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Can you explain to us what you mean by ratcheting a come along?
Well,
It's
that's
like
the
the old come along face.
Yeah, that's the difference between a come along and a come along is used to pull and a chain fall is used to pick up. So that's the difference. I mean, it has a manual wheel on a chain fall, like it's a pulling motion, and a come along has a ratchet.
And so that means that Mr. Baldwin was using a ratchet with this come along.
Yes,
And so the direction that that come along meant it would be pulling away from this edge, this leading edge, correct?
yes, sir.
Okay. And did you think the wind was strong enough to knock over this unit?
No, sir.
Did you think the wind was strong enough to knock over 5,193 pounds?
I wasn't aware that much. No, sir.
Asked and answered.
At any point in time, did you see the wind knock over any person up there working?
What was that?
Did you see the wind that you felt? You said there was some wind.
Yeah, there was a little bit of wind.
Yeah, did it knock over anybody?
No, sir.
Did you see a bunch of trash flying off the fourth floor onto the ground?
No, sir.
What do you think caused this unit to tip over?
The tension on that come along.
Right here?
Yes, sir.
Why do you
Good
think?
It was already offset. And when you put in tension, it started cocking the unit sideways.
And is when that tension there, is that about when you observed it fell?
Yes, sir. The ball of the crane and that tension when it cocked it, I believe that unit corrected itself and caused it to tip.
What do you mean it corrected itself?
But it's gonna want to straighten itself out. So if you call it, it's gonna want to correct itself. So it being on skates, I think you're pulling the front end to its I guess right. And it got out of line with the ball.
By the way, I forgot to congratulate you earlier. Are you a certified rigger today?
Yes, sir.
And when did you get that certification?
I've had it
For how long?
a number of years.
When you were in the union, I'm sorry, when you were at Way Engineering, were you in the union?
No, sir.
Have you ever been in the union?
No, sir.
Okay. Now we heard some testimony about Mr. LeRae yelling down to the crane operator. And what we've heard is he yelled, "Get your effing S together." Did you hear that?
Yes, sir.
And was that on the first lift or was that on this lift?
That was on the first lift.
There was no yelling down to the crane operator about Mr. LeRae of this lift, correct?
No, sir.
Did you notice any problems with respect to the way this unit was lifted and brought into the building?
No, sir.
Why do you believe again that the unit tipped over, even with Mr. Baldwin pulling on the tunnel?
Why do I think?
Yeah,
It wasn't we were told that it was they couldn't find the center of gravity, so it was heavier on one side.
is it possible to mark the center of gravity?
Yes, sir, you're supposed to.
Did anyone do so?
No, sir.
Did anyone ask to do so?
No, sir.
Okay. I think you said, why did you leave White?
I wasn't being treated right.
Did you think it was an unsafe company?
Yes, sir. I've said.
Did Way ever hold its own JSAs?
Not that I know of.
Did Mr. LeRae tell you anything about whether this unit was unbalanced or not prior to your work beginning that night?
No, sir.
Now, I think I'll pass the witness go.
At this time, does the plaintiff wish to cross?
I think so, Your Honor.
Please proceed, counsel.
How are you?
Good.
Your name is Anthony Ramon?
Anthony Gonzalez from,
Anthony Gonzalez Ramon.
yes, sir.
Okay. Can I call you Mr. Ramon?
Sure.
Okay. You came in yesterday?
Yes, sir.
Where did you come from?
San Antonio?
You drove in?
No, sir.
You flew in?
Yes, sir.
Who paid for that flight?
Miss Susan?
Miss Susan Miller right there?
Yes,
Okay, they put you up in a hotel?
yes,
They pay for it?
yes,
They pay for your wages for missing work?
yes,
Okay, so let me make sure I'm clear. Right now, you are here on TNT's dime, true?
yes.
I mean, not
I
they,
mean, not dime. I wouldn't say dime, but
I don't know
they're,
how much they're paying you yet, but we'll get to it. You're here, they're paying you to be here, right?
Objection, she interrupted him. He was still continuing with his answer when he said,
What's the objection, counsel?
interruption, argumentative.
Okay, I'll sustain argumentative, and so, Mr. Busby, please let him finish.
I object for interruption. That's our new legal objection today, guys. Interruption.
The answer before you start your next question.
Maybe that's a term phrase I shouldn't use. Let me try it. You're here being paid by TNT, aren't you?
not being paid.
But they're giving you money for missing work?
Anything that's inconvenience to me as far as missing work, food or anything like that, yes, sir, is being reimbursed.
Okay, that's all I'm asking.
Okay.
I'm just asking, they're paying you because you're away from work right now,
Yes,
Is that
sir.
right?
Yes, sir.
and they paid you to fly here.
They paid me to fly here, or they bought me a ticket to fly here? Yes, sir.
And which hotel they put you in?
The Marriott.
Downtown?
Yes, sir.
Did you come alone?
Yes.
And you met with their lawyers last night?
Yes.
How long did y'all meet for?
Maybe like an hour. It
That's
was,
it.
yeah, I got in kind of late, 4.
So last night you met for an hour
Yeah.
with who?
With Susan, that gentleman over there, another gentleman, where's he at?
See him here?
Hmm. Oh, yeah, he's in the back there. Then I met the young man over there in the white t-shirt too.
Which gentleman in the back are you referring to? The guy,
Uh,
anybody, the young man?
Yes, sir.
Who is he?
I'm not sure of his name, but, and we really didn't talk much, but he was there when I was talking to Miss Susan.
Did they show you your statement you gave?
What statements?
You gave statements in this case. Did they show them to you?
They showed me statements, but those are not my statements.
They said, did you not give a statement after this happened?
Yes, sir, we had to.
Okay. And people wrote down what you said?
No, sir.
All right, we'll get to that in a minute. When did you leave, Way Engineering?
When did I leave Way Engineering? Like what year? I don't recall.
How long after David was killed did you leave the company?
About a year afterwards.
You stayed there a full year,
Mm-hmm.
is that right?
Yes, sir. About a year and a half, I would say.
So a year and a half you stayed there,
Yes, sir.
till after he was killed.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you left on your own volition, like nobody asked you to leave?
No, sir.
Nobody fired you?
No, sir.
Did you talk to the TNT lawyers this morning?
No, sir.
So you haven't met with Miss Susan or Mr. Kim or any of these folks today?
Being asked to come down here at 2:00 was new to me.
Okay, so you didn't anticipate coming today to do this?
No, sir.
You had another meeting planned with them?
I was just in my room.
You said you're a certified rigger now?
Yes, sir.
When did you get that certification?
Well, every company should make their employer do their own certifications.
I didn't ask that.
Okay.
It's a non-responsive.
Well, I'm just letting y'all know.
Thank. So just answer the question then.
Oh, okay.
If you need him to rephrase or you don't understand, say that as well. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. You can.
When did you get your certification?
I'd have to look back at my certification. It's dated. And I don't have that with me right now, so,
No.
no, sir.
Mr. Kim has congratulated you. I wonder if it's something that happened recently?
Well, like I was trying to explain, every company makes us do new certifications. So, I mean, I've been certified throughout the years, throughout my career. But if you're particularly asking me like who gave me a certification or what company gave me a certification, I'd have to look back at my actual shirts.
Okay, so you said you've been certified more than once.
Correct. Every company that I've worked for makes you do their own training.
Did you have a certification for rigor for way engineering?
I don't think so.
Okay, so not every company,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, but
So you said every company certifies you as a rigger, but certainly what we know for sure is Way Engineering didn't certify you as a rigger, did they?
I don't think so.
Because you weren't a rigger at Way Engineering, were you?
No, sir.
You were not a certified rigger at Way Engineering, were
No, sir.
you? Okay, you weren't supposed to be doing rigging at Way Engineering, were you?
Nope.
Because you weren't certified to do so, right?
Well, when you say rigging, I mean, we rigged equipment everywhere throughout my career.
Sir, I'm being very specific.
Okay.
You were not a certified rigger at Way Engineering, were you?
No, sir.
You weren't supposed to be doing rigging at Way Engineering, are you?
I'm not sure.
So you didn't know if you were supposed to be doing it.
Yeah.
And if you did do rigging at Way Engineering, you're supposed to have a rigger present to supervise you, aren't you?
And somebody with a certification.
Yeah, so what you're saying is, look, as long as somebody that has the certification is there, I can do rigging under their supervision, true?
That's not what I'm saying.
Isn't that true though?
No.
So you're telling me you would go do rigging without a certification, without being supervised by a certified rigger? Is that what you're telling us?
I would go say that one more time.
You were not a certified rigger at Way Engineering, were you?
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
Yeah.
Previously you said you weren't.
I worked for several different companies, so I'd have to look back at my certs, sir.
What you would say is, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I don't know if I was a certified rigger at Way Engineering. True? True? I don't know.
Because he said the wind didn't push the lift over. So he's mad.
I've been 12 and a half years throughout my career. You're asking me to dig back 10 years ago. Or no, like, no, not 10 years ago, but
No, just a year and a half ago.
I've done a lot of training, so I don't really recall if they certified me or not.
Which is what we know is your job title was not rigger, was it?
That was pretty bad.
I was a general
That
instructor.
was
So you
bad.
weren't a rigger, were you? You were not a certified rigger. That was not your job title, was it?
No,
Okay. You were terminated on April 26th of 2023 for providing false information to Way Engineering. Is that true?
false information.
Yes, sir.
I was not terminated.
You provided false information to Way Engineering, which led to your exit from that company. Isn't that right?
No, sir.
Did you not leave the company because you were asked to leave because you had provided false information? I'm giving you fair opportunity to answer that question.
No, sir.
So your testimony would be, I did not provide false information and I was not terminated by Way. Is that your testimony?
That is correct.
And you left because for no other reason other than you wanted to go to a different job. Is that true?
I went to a different job for more money. I was getting treated unfairly. They were asking me to go out of town and send us home with no gas money.
Right. And there was an issue about how you were collecting per diem, wasn't there?
There was a lot of issues.
No,
Per
let's
diem,
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
per diem, scale pay. There was a lot of issues going on over there.
Right. You were claiming per diem and other things that the company said you weren't entitled and they said it was false. Isn't that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I thought so. You, in your trips out of town, were claiming that you were entitled to per diem and other benefits. The company said that that was false. Isn't that right? And they fired you for that, didn't they?
No, sir.
You left before they could fire you for that, didn't you?
I have no idea what they were thinking.
Well, you knew enough to find another job because they were getting ready to fire you for providing false information. Isn't that right?
No, sir. Not that news to me. A lot of people left.
I'm not asking, object to non-responsive.
Okay.
So tell us how much TNT is paying you now. How much money are they gonna give you for coming here?
Just lost wages?
How much?
Objection, Your Honor, that's even for leading, that's argumentative. That mischaracterizes the evidence, mistakes the evidence, and mischaracterizes this witness's testimony.
Sustained as to argumentative, sustained as to leading, and overruled as to the other objections.
I mean, this is an adverse witness. I can't lead him. I just respectfully request that I can't lead a guy who's being paid by TNT to be here on their behalf.
Stop, counselor. Go ahead.
Well, I'll agree with them on leading, but the other rulings, the other reasons just stated.
Okay, I sustained it for argumentative. Please ask the question another way or go to the next question, please.
Trying to figure out how much money you are receiving from TNT.
Whatever my paycheck I presented them to,
What did you present to them?
paycheck stub,
Okay, how much was on the stuff?
72 hours.
You're getting paid for
Well,
72
that's,
hours?
well, I'm working like that every week in San Antonio.
Okay, I understand. I'm not trying to criticize. I'm just trying to figure out exactly how much they're gonna give you. 72 hours of work?
Whatever days I miss work.
Okay, so far you're on day 2?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so they're paying you a daily rate?
I believe so.
Okay. And how many hours a day?
12 hours a day.
Okay, so they're paying you 12-hour a day rate.
Yes, sir.
So that's time and a half for the 4 hours over 8,
No, sir. That's not how the union works. It's after 40.
after 40.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so what is the 72 hours that you presented to them? How much money was on there so we can figure out how much you're being paid?
Whatever days of work I missed, that's what I'm being reimbursed.
Yes, sir. I understand that. I'm trying to figure out how much you get a day.
I don't know. I have to look at a check stub.
You don't know how much you make a day?
How much do I make a day? Like hourly rate?
Yes, sir.
36 and some change, sir.
Okay.
But that's not my total package. I
Okay.
mean, the union provides us a package.
All right. So just without the total package, you're getting $2,600 to be here, right?
I don't think so.
Well, it's 2 days. That's 2 days of work for you is $2,600 according to your own testimony.
So yeah, well, if that's what it add up.
Plus the plane flight.
I'm not getting paid for that. They
Right, they're just paying
just,
for it for you.
yeah.
And the hotel room at the downtown Marriott.
Yes, sir.
And you said you were provided documents to review?
Documents, I've seen some statements.
Is it your testimony that the statements you've seen are not your own statements?
Those are not my signatures. No, I didn't write those statements that I've looked at.
Yeah, I think you said, I just want to make sure. Y'all knew about the job the night before, is that right?
The evening before we were leaving, yes, sir.
Okay, so you knew that there were going to be some units moved to that 4th floor and to the roof.
So when I was at Way engineering or Way mechanical, I think we were leaving at 5:30 that day, and we were getting ready to leave basically in the parking lot. And David asked us, "Hey, does anybody want to come in early to help set up for this crane pick tomorrow?"
So that was when you learned that there would be some
That's-
units moved.
Yes, sir.
Did you know anything about the units that they moved?
No, sir.
Did you know one of them had fallen over the day
I didn't know that till the day of.
while you were in the middle of the move,
Yes, sir. That morning.
while you're in the middle of the pick
Well, no, that morning we were at the Connex.
at the Connex?
Yes, sir. Getting our equipment.
You're at the Connex getting the equipment and what were you told?
I want y'all to be careful because this thing fell over.
Who told you that?
David Laurie.
Did he tell you why it fell over?
They couldn't find the center of gravity.
Who couldn't find it?
Well, whoever the company, or I mean, Way, I guess.
Do you know who delivered it?
You know.
You know that TNT delivered it to the site.
Yes, sir.
Okay. They find the center of gravity of it.
No, I don't know. I wasn't down there. I was on the 4th floor.
Who was operating the crane?
Who was the crane operator?
Yeah, who they work for?
TNT.
The crane operator found the center of gravity for the load that he was moving.
I have no idea what was done down there. I was on the 4th floor, sir.
I know, but you said that they didn't find the center of gravity for the load. I'm asking you, did the crane operator, did you see make an effort to find the center of gravity for that load?
I don't know.
Who rigged it up on the bottom side?
TNT did.
Okay, so your testimony would be on the ground floor, the unit that was being flown in was rigged up by TNT. Is that right?
Can you say that again one more time, please?
The units that were being flown into the fourth floor, your testimony is TNT rigged those.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you saw them do it?
What?
Did you see them do it?
No, sir. I wasn't able to get, I mean, to that building that was cabling. We were able to see them from there, but as far as that leading edge, I wasn't able to see them.
Or why do you tell us that TNT is the entity that rigged up on the bottom floor? Why do you say that?
I think it was a mixture of TNT and Way though. I know Way had some people down there.
Okay, the TNT was in charge of it.
On the ground level, yes, sir.
Okay. So no doubt in your mind that rigging on the ground floor was TNT's, they were in charge. That's your position,
On the
right?
ground level, yes, sir.
Okay. And you believe that based on your personal observation? You believe that because that's what you saw?
And yeah, I wasn't told anything else.
Yeah.
I was told to get our equipment and wait for these units to come through the window.
Who was the certified rigger doing the rigging on the ground floor?
I have no idea.
Do you know the name of the certified rigger that was down there?
No, sir.
Do you know the name of those, the? I know it's hard to see this, maybe it's like, can you see this board?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you see this individual named, Manuel Rivera? Up here at the top,
Oh, yes, sir.
do you remember him?
Never met him.
Okay.
Never met any of those gentlemen.
Okay.
So,
So you don't recall whether Manuel Rivera, a crane superintendent, was involved in the rigging on the bottom floor?
no, sir. I wasn't down there.
Okay, and I'm not criticizing you for not knowing, I'm just asking.
I understand.
Do you recall this individual named Mario Ramirez, a rigging supervisor who was involved in the rigging on the bottom floor?
No, sir.
Do you recall the crane operator who was operating the crane from TNT that was sitting in the cab on the bottom floor?
No, sir.
Did you ever meet any of the three individuals I just referenced?
No, sir.
Did you ever have a meeting with the crane operator about the lift and about the dangers of the lift?
No, sir.
Did you ever have any sort of job safety analysis with TNT before this lift began?
No, sir.
Did you notice anybody having a job safety analysis down below when you were watching them before they started rigging?
Yes, sir.
And what did you see?
It's a group of guys standing around in a circle talking
Okay. Did you
by
participate?
the load. Yeah,
Did you
by the load.
participate in that meeting?
No, sir.
How important is it before you do a lift, in your experience, to make sure that everybody involved with either rigging, lifting, or unrigging is on the same page?
I'll say that's very important.
Critical, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
And can we agree that the crane operator's in charge of the boat? Always when there's a lift going on.
I mean, they have a job to get it from point A to point B.
So when it's hooked up, until it's completely unhooked, the crane operator's in charge of the lift. That's the rule of the road, is it not?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's the rule of the road. When you've been out there, I mean, you have a long experience. Now you're a certified rigger. The rule of the road is from the moment the load is hooked up until the moment the load is unhooked, the crane operator owns that load. Isn't that true?
Objection, Your Honor.
When-
Stop, sir.
Objection, Your Honor. Vague and mischaracterization. Rule of the road has not been said as the standard of care by any such witness in this case. It's just Mr. Busby's own.
Sustained.
Sir, you've been on job sites for how long?
12 and a half years.
You've been around construction and moving loads, right?
Yes, sir.
You've seen it happen hundreds of times, I'm assuming, true?
Yes, sir.
And you know how it's supposed to go out there, don't you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Were you involved in any meeting whatsoever with the crane operator?
No, sir.
Did the crane operator that you're aware of ever go up to the 4th floor where you were?
They had one guy up there.
I'm asking about that one guy. We're gonna get to him. Talk about the crane operators right there. See his picture? Ben Kinkle.
Okay.
He was operating the crane. Did you know that?
No, sir.
Did you ever see the guy that was operating the crane come up to the 4th floor before the lift?
No, sir.
Did you ever see him come up even after the lift?
No, sir.
Okay, you mentioned there was a TNT fell up on the 4th floor.
Yes, sir.
Okay, could you see his picture there?
I think it's Juan, I think.
Yeah, right there. Can you see him on the board, bottom left?
Yes, sir.
Okay, is that the individual that was on the 4th floor?
I think that's him.
Okay, was he from TNT?
Yes, sir.
You know he was a certified rigger?
No, I didn't.
Does that make sense that he was?
I mean, I would hope so.
Why would you hope so?
It's TNT's employee. I hope he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, because he's giving commands to the crane, is he not?
Yes, sir.
He's the only one that can talk to the crane.
Correct.
None of you folks up there doing that work have the ability to talk to the crane, do you?
Mm-hmm.
Do you?
No, sir.
I mean, I guess you could try to scream down, but
No, there ain't none of that going on.
right, that doesn't happen that way, does it?
I mean, it happens, but I mean, that's not how it's typically done.
You're supposed to have a certified rigger up there, with somebody that knows what he's doing as far as a signalman, right?
Correct.
And that's who this Juan Garcia was supposed to be, right?
I don't know. I never met him.
Okay, but did you see anybody else from TNT up there other than him?
No, sir.
Okay. And he was the only fellow with the radio, right?
Yes, sir.
David didn't have any radio, did he?
No, sir.
You didn't have a radio, did you?
No, nobody besides a TNT employee.
That was that guy right there.
I think so. Yes, sir.
Okay. You never had a meeting with a crane operator or any of the certified riggers from TNT about proper unrigging of that load?
No, sir.
Now, you don't remember them using this wood at all, do you?
Not that I recall. No, sir.
So you would say, look, I don't remember wood. I can't make any comment on wood at all.
There was wood up there, but it wasn't from this equipment moving.
Yeah. As far as you're concerned, wood wasn't used.
No, sir.
Is that true?
As far as yes,
I asked a bad question. I'm gonna try to fix myself. As far as you remember, as somebody who was up on the 4th floor, you didn't see anybody using any wood, did you?
no, sir.
There was no wood, as far as you know, involved in this
No.
list at all, was
As far as I know, no.
there? Okay. Now, did you see at some point as they were trying to get the back right-hand corner of the load onto that skate? Remember that when that happened? The skate on the back right-hand side was not perfectly positioned. Remember that?
You say the back, is that the tail end hanging outside
Yeah.
the building? Okay,
Yeah.
so the back right.
Yeah, I'm from your point of view, you're back here, the end of the building's towards you, and it's the back right.
So I would be facing the window
Correct.
from inside the building.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
So that back right corner was not perfectly placed on that skate, correct?
I have no idea. I didn't place that skate.
Understand, but they had to lift it up to get it positioned perfectly. That back side, didn't they?
To get it in the window? Yes, sir.
No, to get it up and place it the right way on the skate.
It was placed, I mean, I'm not sure if I understand.
My question is, do you recall that they had the back right corner on the skate, but it wasn't positioned appropriately on the skate? So they lifted it up a little bit so they could reposition the skate. You recall that?
No, sir.
So your testimony would be, I don't remember that occurring. Is that right?
I remember them picking it up to correct that skate. No, sir.
They said it a couple times. I think it was either 2021 or 2022.
I want to look at plaintiff's exhibit 58. And go to page 3. You remember the first lift, they did several, the crane operator did several lifts, true?
That day,
Yeah.
it was, before the accident, it was 2 lifts prior to, that was the third.
One of them was sketchy.
The first one was,
Yeah. The load went up and it rolled in the docks, and so they take it back down.
no,
Tell me what happened.
the first pick, they attempted to bring the first unit in.
When we approach, you take it off the screen.
Thank you. Objection? Okay, it's sustained. Counsel, Mr. Busby. Please make sure next time you publish your exhibit, that it's in evidence. Okay, all right, thank you. You can approach the witness, counsel.
Thank you.
Listen, Judge, publishing before you show the jury, that's new, right? Is that a new rule that we do in court? Because neither of these lawyers have ever heard of that before. It's like you're making up new rules here, Judge.
Sir, I'm showing you what has been marked as plaintiff's exhibit 58. See that right here?
Okay.
All right. And then the third page, some handwriting. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
I mean, you're asking me with the highlighted?
I'm asking you if you see the handwriting
Oh,
on the
of course.
page. Okay. And when we turn over to the last page, we see a signature. Do you see the signature?
Yes, sir.
Is that your signature?
No, sir.
You're saying this is not your signature?
No, sir.
Okay, can I, may I see your driver's license, please?
I love my driver's license so much. I got to show it
You
today.
agree that looks
yesterday.
exactly like your signature.
I do my signature with my G.
So your testimony would be that this doesn't, your signature here on your driver's license does not look almost exactly like the one on this page. Is that what you're telling me?
It's close, but
It's
no,
real close, isn't it?
I don't.
I mean, that's your signature. You may not remember signing it, but you certainly signed it, didn't you?
No, sir.
Okay. You've seen this statement before, haven't you?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Susan presented it to me.
Okay. So it was presented to you last night by TNT.
Yes, sir.
Okay. But your testimony would be, even though it looks like my signature, I didn't actually sign it.
Yes, sir.
And you did in fact meet with folks from Way and tell them what happened, right?
Just a day of.
Yeah, and they wrote everything you said down and had you sign it, didn't they?
Not that I know of.
You don't remember it?
My statements were handwritten by me.
Okay. So you would say that the unit was not set down on the rear right side momentarily for a moment before it was lifted up again.
Before it was sat down on some skates.
Back right skate, and then they lifted it up so they could adjust the skate. True?
I don't recall them picking it up again.
Okay, you know you can't adjust the skate unless you lift the load off of it, right?
It was on some dunnage.
Um, overruled. He can ask him if he has knowledge. He can answer. Answer the question if you know the answer.
And you can, if the load is completely down to 5,000 pounds on the back right skate, the only way to adjust the skate is to take the load off the skate at least somewhat. Isn't that right?
I would presume so, yes. Sir.
Okay, and the only way to take the load somewhat off that back right skate is to hoist it up. Isn't that right?
I'm not sure if you understand what happened there that day, but that unit got hung up on some dunnage that was a concrete form that yet hasn't been poured yet. So it was there. So that's I believe that's what caused that skate to the unit wasn't sitting on all four skates correctly.
Jake, non-responsive.
Mr. Dane, answer his question, please.
Only way, if you got the load down on the skate, the only way to adjust the skate is to lift the load. Even if it's a little bit, isn't that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Unless the frame's crooked or something.
the only way to adjust the skate, if it's not sitting on there the way you want it, is to tell the crane operator through the signal man, come up a little bit. Isn't that right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, of course, that's common sense, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
And when that was happening, that's when the thing tipped. Isn't that right?
I don't remember hearing anything pick the load up.
Yeah, I know that. I'm not suggesting that you heard it. I'm suggesting that that's what happened, isn't it?
I have no idea.
Because so now you're saying you don't know what happened. Is that right?
No, sir.
Okay. So can we agree that it could be that because you were focused on other things and you couldn't even see the back right corner, that the request may have been made to the signal man, hey, bring it up a couple of inches so we can adjust the skate. That could have happened, right?
I think I would have heard that.
Well, I didn't ask you if you think you would have heard it. My question is, it could have happened without you knowing it. Isn't that right?
It could have happened without me knowing it. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. The unit could have been raised to realign skate when it tipped over on its right side. That could be a very true statement, correct?
Say that again.
The unit was raised to realign skate when it tipped over. That could be a true statement, true?
I mean, it could be, but that's not what I recall.
Yeah. Is that something you ever said before? Did you ever say that before?
No.
You don't recall ever saying that that's exactly what happened based on what your observation was?
Yeah.
You did say that before.
No.
Let me be clear, sir.
Okay.
It's brought to you a statement that purports to have your signature on it. You remember?
Mm-hmm.
You remember?
Yeah, just a minute ago.
And question is, the unit was raised to realign the skate when it tipped over on its right side. That's something that you might have told somebody. Isn't that true?
No, sir.
You don't remember saying that?
No, sir. I mean, there's all kinds of possibilities. I don't remember we saying that. I may have.
Okay, that's what I thought. You may have said that. Isn't that true?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You may have said that the day this happened. Isn't that true?
The day this happened?
Yeah, when you sat down and talked to somebody about what happened. You may have said that very thing. Isn't that right?
No, sir.
You may have said it sometime after. Isn't that
We
right?
weren't allowed to talk to anybody after the accident.
Did you take a reading for the wind out there?
No, sir. I don't have any instrument like that.
Who were you relying on to make sure that if the crane operator was gonna do a lift, that it wasn't too windy?
The GC and the crane operator?
Okay, I mean, that's what you would expect him to do, right?
Yeah.
You know if he did that?
I have no idea.
Did you know his wind meter on his crane was not working?
I didn't know that.
You recall saying there was a wind gust and the unit tipped.
Wind gust in the unit. No, sir.
Plaintiff's exhibit 46 is an evidence.
Yes.
Go to page 5. These are some notes that were taken on September 22nd. I want to make sure that this is, you can see this name Anthony here. You see that name? See the name Anthony?
Yes, sir, I do.
Did Miss Susan show you these notes?
Never seen this piece of document that you have.
So last night when you were with Miss Susan, she didn't show you this.
No, sir.
Okay, let's look at it. Says rigged with straps, did not work. Set back down. That's true, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what happened the first time.
Yeah, I mean, this is, you realize these purport to be notes taken of a conversation that you had? Do you realize that?
No, I had no idea.
You didn't know they were taking notes when you talked to them?
No, sir.
Let's look at, keep going. Stay where you are, please. Get this, re-rigged, the unit set correctly. I get that? That happened, didn't it? Once you set it, once it was set back down, the folks down below re-rigged it and it was able to be set in there correctly. Isn't that true?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is all true so far, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then it says, rigging it the way they agreed with chain falls. That's true as well, correct? They went back down, they added, put chain falls on it, re-rigged it and loaded it on up, didn't they?
Yes, sir.
Continues to mischaracterize the evidence, and Mr. Ramon has testified that he's talking about the first lift, not the lift that we're talking about that made the basis of this lawsuit.
Never suggested that this wasn't the first lift. It's very clear. He knows what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about.
Overruled.
Okay, continue now with the first lift. I mean, they had to pick it up, re-rig it, chain fall it, put it up there, right? That's what happened on that first lift, isn't it?
Can you repeat your process?
I'm just reading from the notes. You just told me these were all right on the first lift,
Uh-huh.
the sketchy one. Okay, this was a sketchy one,
Okay.
right? The first one was a sketchy one, recall?
Yes.
Okay, I'm talking about the sketchy one.
Okay.
Okay. They rigged with straps, it did not work. They set it back down, true?
I recall that happening.
Okay. They re-rigged and the unit set correctly, true?
Set correctly. Re-rig, set correctly. Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay. Rigging it the way they agreed with chain falls. That's how they did it when they did it correctly, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. And then this is where David, get your effing S together. You heard him say that, right?
Yeah, he was hollering down
Yeah.
down to the groundsman.
So this is also true.
Yes, sir.
Okay, it's all attributed to what you told someone. See your name there?
That's what happened that day.
Yeah. So everything that they wrote down that you said is correct so far, isn't it?
Oh, you telling me I said this?
Yeah.
Oh,
Now, then they put a star. It appears that TNT did not do what was agreed. Is that what you figured out when you're up on the fourth floor, that first lift, they hadn't done what they had agreed to do? And that's what pissed off David?
well, that's what happened.
Yeah, okay. So everything there is correct.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's go to the next page. Now we're talking about the second unit. Bring up the second unit. Not all that, just the second unit. There we go. Okay, on the second unit, that's the one that fell, isn't it?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. Picked up with chain falls, that's true. Right? Moved into building. Wind gust unit tipped. Did I read that correctly?
I believe so. Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's what you told them on the day that you talked to them, isn't it?
Talk to who?
People that took these notes.
We weren't allowed to talk to anybody.
Do you see, sir, that says wind gust unit flipped
Well, this is somebody else taking their own notes.
from stuff that you say?
We weren't allowed to talk to
Go back
anybody
to the
after
next
the
page.
incident.
Previous page. Anthony. Is there any other Anthony that you know of?
Just that I know of?
Yeah.
On the job site?
Any other Anthony from Way Mechanical or Way Engineering that was involved in this lift?
No, sir.
Okay. So is it now you're saying that you deny that there was a wind gust? You deny that?
I deny that there's a wind gust.
Yes, sir. That's the question.
No, sir.
Okay, so there was a wind gust, wasn't there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The gust of wind, the unit tipped over. Two true statements, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
But man, I'm not sure where you're getting at. I mean, you're getting at wind and tipping over units and right? That's what you're getting at?
Getting at anything other than trying to get you to tell me whether these notes taken with your name on them are correct. That's all I'm asking. Go to the next page. Wind gust, that's a true statement, correct?
There was wind gust that day.
Okay. Up there on the fourth floor, there's a lot of gusts, weren't there?
He is such an ass.
Well, if you focus wind through a building, I don't know if you've ever been in a building,
I've been in the building.
okay, without walls,
I've been in the building without walls.
it tends to be a little windy sometimes.
Yeah, because it focuses the wind.
Correct.
Yeah, it makes a funnel effect on the wind.
Yes, sir.
It can make the wind that's outside the building not as much, can get faster because of the funnel effect.
It does, yes.
And that's why the gusts, when you're moving something, can be that important. You got to plan for those, don't you?
I would recommend, yes, sir.
Yeah. And what you're telling the ladies and gentlemen is there was in fact gusts of wind on that fourth floor. Isn't that true?
There was wind that day, yes, sir.
There were gusts of wind that day, weren't there?
Yes, faster than the normal, I guess, wind speed.
Yeah. On the fourth floor funnel.
We're kind of at the edge of the building, so I wouldn't say maybe funnels, maybe not. I wouldn't know.
Yeah. Now, when the gust,
I will give you a spoiler right here, right now. He does not fall over in his chair. He leans back, but he does not fall over.
came, how fast the dust came and the unit tipped, how close in time was that? The same time, right?
Objection leading.
We're looking, there's so many things happening, when we're bringing that unit in, we're sweating. So any kind of gust, it feels like when you're perspiring, any kind of light wind would make you feel like it's there. I mean, I recall them maybe like 10-mile-per-hour winds out there that day.
That's what you call a gust.
Oh, there's gust, it's like you got a wind and then a gust, it speeds up a little bit faster.
Yeah,
That's what I call a gust.
Right. I'm not asking about the wind and about, how you felt. I'm just asking about how close in time was this wind gust to the thing tipping over? It was a gust of wind, the thing started tipping. Isn't that right? Right.
He's gonna punch him right in his face.
No, sir.
It was, that's the reason they put them on the same line. That's what you said, isn't it?
I didn't write these notes.
I know, you just said it.
We weren't allowed to talk to anybody.
You were asked, did you feel enough wind to knock over the unit? You hesitated and you said, no, sir. Remember that?
Say that again?
Yeah, the TNT lawyer asked you specifically, he said, did you feel enough wind to knock over a unit? Remember him asking you that?
Oh, yeah, he asked me.
You didn't mention any wind gusts with him, did you?
He didn't ask me about when.
He didn't ask you about the wind gusts?
No.
Now we're all clear there were wind gusts up there.
I mean, there was a gust of wind, yeah.
One that you remembered enough to have somebody write it down. Right?
This character analysis is testimony. Mr. Rhodes was willing to say that things were mistakes. They weren't allowed to talk to anybody.
Do you have a response, Mr. Leslie?
Your Honor, I think, just for the purposes of credibility, his statement should be offered and the jury be able to look at his signature and the signature on his driver's license. because counsel claims that no statement was given, but now we know that every word written on this paper, he agrees with because he said it.
It's no such thing, Your Honor. And this was a speech, this was in a response to an objection and I object to the sidebar. That's to be stricken and the jury instructed, just disregard it.
Oh, sustained. Are you about to say something else, Mr. Kim? Okay. Sustained as to the second objection, it'll be stricken from the record. The last statement that the plaintiff's counsel made. I'm going to allow this line of questioning related to a statement being given and the notes being taken. You can proceed with the question previously, Mr. Busby.
Let's see some evidence. Let's look at plaintiff's exhibit 57, which is in evidence. All right, let's look at the top. And you see the words under name where it says a name. See that name?
Yes, sir.
Whose name is that?
That's my first name and last.
Stop.
It's not in evidence yet. And there's been no activity.
It's in evidence, John.
That's exhibit number what?
57. We've used it multiple times, as the court knows.
Our 57.
No, plaintiff's 57, which we've
57.
used at least 10 times in this case so far.
Okay, and we've used 57, so you haven't objected to it. Okay, overruled. It's admitted into evidence. 57, we've talked about it. I remember at least twice. Proceed, Mr. Busby. It's in evidence. 57 is.
Yes, Your All right, same question, sir. Is this your name?
Yes, sir.
Okay, is this your address?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is that the last four of your social?
That is.
Okay. Were you born in March of '89?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Do you got his mother's maiden name by any chance?
Had you been on the job for 3 to 6 months at the time that Mr. Lurie was killed?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Everything's right so far, true?
Correct.
Okay. Let's go to the last page. Let's look at the signature. I just want to see the signature, please. You see the signature? Is it your testimony? That's not your signature either?
Look like I signed that.
Did you sign it?
No, sir.
So your testimony would be, even though this signature looks exactly like your driver's license and the signature on the other statement, you didn't sign
No, sir.
it. All right, we approach.
Sure.
Yes.
He wants his driver's license published.
But she can't do anything. But what so with respect, I don't appreciate that either. But I would say this, the witness showed me his driver's license. And I'm not an expert at this, but I do have common sense. And I do know there's a document evidence would be enforced to be a signature. And we do know how this case played out. We know that every single person up there, you know, you've heard the evidence and was. Conclusion, you're gonna exchange statements. This was one of the statements that is to be exchanged. So the premise is the court is now confronted with somebody who takes this gentleman with a documented evidence that purports to be his signature, with all the surrounding facts, that we know that he was questioned despite what he says. We know that. We know that all witnesses were questioned. We know that he's guilty. We don't find out. It is. This is the document.
No, where's the one that's not in evidence?
Right there, it's right.
The signature. I'm not even right next to it,
That's
but
the page you find the signature. That's-
that doesn't look like, that doesn't look like to me, counselor. But again, I'm not a handwriting expert. I believe it is possible. But it could not be possible that he didn't sign it, but you should impeach him and
Well, the problem is,
attack his credibility at this point.
yeah, so to do that, I would have to show this is all my point.
Okay, I wouldn't object to a handwriting expert, but at this time, he's saying it's not his signature. He's adamant about it. He's repeated it several times and he said, I wasn't allowed to talk to anybody. I didn't sign it. That's his testimony.
I'm just asking you for leeway to impeach him.
Go for it. Yes,
Hold it, but you can't put it up on the screen.
he can put 57 up. We've already talked, 57 is in evidence.
Other signs.
Correct, I've already made a ruling on the other one previously.
I'm just saying.
He hasn't.
It's said anything like that.
He can say that to me. He can say
Well,
that
I've
to
heard
me.
some lawyers. I mean, I did not, I know what I've said when I say that court does too.
Yes.
Say that's my approach.
All right, you can
I'd
proceed.
like to
with
impeach
your-
him with 58 in your signature.
You can-
Let me make sure you're clear. It's on the way.
It's
Not in evidence.
It's not, but he can
But I'm
still
gonna put
impeach
this
him. He
in.
just can't publish it.
But he's not gonna publish. He's not gonna put it on the screen. He can go approach it now.
That's what I just said, Mr. Kim. Thank you. You can proceed, Mr. Busby.
Judge, Mr. Kim needs a minute to catch up. Just relax.
I understand. And if I was raising my voice at you, I didn't mean to, okay? Feel like I was raising my voice at you.
You got a little loud.
Sorry about that. I wanna make sure I understand what you're telling us.
Oh, yeah. That apology was heartfelt. I'm about to cry.
We have a first report of injury that's in evidence that has your name on it, and has a signature from September 22nd of 2021. Do you see that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And let's go to the page 2. And I just want, can you read what that says right there? The first 4 or 5 words.
But it was windy today. First pick failed.
And that's your true statement as well, isn't it? That's what happened, right?
I'm not sure what you call windy. What are you considering windy? Like a breeze or you gust? I mean, what are you calling windy?
You're asking me?
Yeah. I mean, there was wind that day. Yes, sir. It's about 10-mile-per-hour winds.
Okay, that's what you say?
Yes, sir.
That's what it was on the fourth floor?
I didn't have a wind barometer.
Okay, well, it's a wind, it's a wind meter, right?
Oh, yeah.
You didn't have one,
No, sir.
but it was more than 10 miles an hour.
But I think looking at my phone throughout the day, waiting,
You were looking at your phone on wind throughout the day? Why would you be doing that?
I'm bored.
You're just bored.
We were waiting.
So you're bored, and because you're bored, you were looking at the wind on your phone. That's your testimony.
I may have, yes, sir.
And so here, the statement that is attributed to you, you would agree it was windy if the definition of windy is 10 miles an hour. Because you don't know what the definition of windy is.
I'm not a weatherman. I mean, I don't know.
Did you tell anybody that it was windy that day? Is that something you might have said to somebody?
That day, no.
No, I mean, after Mr. LaRue was killed, is that something you might have told somebody that it was windy that day?
No, sir.
You never would have said that.
No.
No. Do you remember the TNT people being disorganized?
Oh, yes. It's
What do you mean disorganized?
Bill, Dave.
Do I remember
no,
them
no,
being
no, no, no.
That's the
disorganized?
question.
Not that I know.
You remember the wind line as it was coming up?
No, sir.
You didn't see it?
No, I wasn't on that leaning edge.
Okay, so you didn't see the unit coming up.
No, sir.
So you don't know if it was rocking.
No, sir.
I'm going to get you a link. Hold on.
Let's go to, claims exhibit 46. Go to page 247, rate stamp. All right, can you see here it says interviews?
Where to see this on this? Oh, now I can see it. Yes, sir.
Okay. Gotta pick that down. And again, you can see that it lists, Fred McCorvey here, William Baldwin, Mike Henley, and Anthony Ramon. You see those names?
Where to see?
You see those four names? Fred McCorvey, you know who he was?
No, sir.
How about Billy Baldwin? Remember him?
Yeah, I remember Baldwin.
He was the one complaining about the wind topside. Remember that? He was raising all kinds of heck out there by the wind. Remember that?
No, sir.
Don't remember that either.
No, sir.
Okay. Mike Hanley, remember him?
I know Mike, but I mean, I don't. I may have talked to him out there
Okay.
or throughout the job.
Let's go down the bottom where it says William, which is Billy Baldwin. In his interview, he said wind was rocking the unit. You would say, I don't know if that's true because I didn't see the unit coming up, right?
That's correct.
You can't say if that's true or not true.
I can't say if that's true or not true. Yes, sir. I wasn't on that leaning edge.
Let's go over to where they typed your name, Anthony. We looked at this, but now it's typed up. This is the same stuff we looked at previously, isn't it? Somebody's typed up those notes we looked at in handwriting, remember?
Somebody typed that up.
Yeah. See that it's the same words if we looked at it. Rigged with straps did not work, sat back down. Remember we went through all that?
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay. And then go to the next page. And it says picked with chain falls, moved into building, wind gust, unit flipped. See that language?
Yes, sir.
And they attribute that to you. Did you realize that?
I didn't realize that.
Okay. And then they're talking again, interviewing you, tried to help Bill lift the unit. Did you try to help lift the unit off of David LaRue?
Yes, sir.
Were you able to do that?
No, sir.
He was bleeding badly.
Yes, sir.
He was not breathing at some point.
No, I never saw him. I mean, yeah. No, I never saw him breathe.
See, it says not breathing.
Yeah, not breathing.
Okay. And you know somebody did CPR on him, right?
Lexus did.
Yeah, Alexis, we heard, you know Alexis?
Yeah, he was up there that day.
Okay, did you know he's been here already and he testified as our first witness?
No, sir.
He gave CPR, just like they're in the notes that were attributed to you. You see that?
Okay.
He said when he gave CPR that David started breathing, gurgling, and spit out bile and blood. Did you see that?
That was prior to him trying to give him CPR.
Before he cleared his mouth first.
Yes, sir.
You know whether he started breathing?
No, sir.
You don't know?
No, sir.
Okay. Now, I want to ask you, the only way somebody could have the crane operator hoist up, y'all call it hoist up,
Yes, sir.
or y'all call it crane up?
It's proper way is hoist up.
Hoist up,
Yes,
okay.
sir.
The only way to have the crane operator hoist
Or
up,
cable up. Yeah.
cable up. like
Yes,
this.
sir.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
The only way to do that, if you're on the fourth floor, is through Juan Garcia. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And if you give Juan Garcia, if you make a request of him as a certified rigger that he thinks is unsafe, his job is not to do it. Isn't that true?
Yes, sir.
Because he's a rigger.
If you're certified and you see something wrong,
So if somebody on the crew is doing something, moving skates or whatever they're doing, and they say, hey, we need to move this thing up 2 inches or 3 to 4 inches or a ½ inch, and he thinks it's unsafe under the circumstances, he just doesn't give the order. Isn't that right?
should have been all stop.
Yeah, he should have said, no, stop, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you ever hear him say, no, stop?
No, sir.
Now, can we agree that the skates had nothing to do with this thing falling over? Had nothing to do with it, did it?
No, sir. The skates, no.
It didn't have anything to do with it, did it?
Besides that, I mean, it wasn't sitting on all skates. It had 3 skates under there.
But that's not the reason it fell over, is it?
I can't really say it.
Yeah, I mean, let me do it this way, I'm sorry, Mr. Vermont.
Yes, sir.
What you would say is, wood didn't have anything to do with this thing falling over, or I can't say wood had anything to do with this falling over, right?
There was no wood
Yeah.
on the skates. No, sir.
So wood has nothing to do with this, right?
No, sir.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then as far as the skates, you don't know if the skates had anything to do with it falling over. Isn't that right?
I don't think so.
Yeah, you don't even think they did, do you?
No.
Okay, so you would say, look, I had eyes on this thing. Did you actually see it fall over, or did you?
When I was watching David and Francisco there, and I started seeing it tilt, and that's when I hollered, "Whoa, whoa, whoa!" And that's when everybody started. David and Francisco tried to get out of the way.
Okay, and so you were looking at David, you weren't really looking at the load.
I was looking at the bottom of the load.
Okay, and to see the tip, you probably want to be looking at the top, right? That's where you're gonna notice it first.
The most, yeah. If you're looking at the top, but there's an issue there with the skates.
Yeah.
So we're trying to make sure everything's good before it starts moving again.
Yeah, so you'd say, look, I'm looking at David and Francisco.
Yes, sir.
I'm not looking at the top of the load.
No, sir.
I don't know if the guy's hoisted up or not. I just don't know.
Yeah, I don't.
You don't know.
Yeah.
But one thing you do know is the skates had nothing to do with it. True?
Well, the skates weren't all under there.
Yeah. But that didn't have anything to do with it, did it?
I have no idea.
Were you able to yell or enough to get David out of the way?
I said, whoa, 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 and
But it was falling.
yeah, it's split second.
Yeah. And he didn't really have anywhere to go, did he? To get out of the way.
And there was room, but it wasn't fast enough.
Too late.
Yeah.
Did you continue to work with Way Engineering on the same crew after this happened?
Say that again, sir?
Yeah. Did you continue to work for Way Engineering after this happened? Right?
Yes, sir.
Did you continue to work on the same crew?
Yes, sir. As far as carrying out my daily duties as a pipe fitter, yes, sir.
Did you continue to work at A&M San Antonio Works?
Yes, sir.
How long were y'all down before y'all started working again?
I heard it get the job opened up right afterwards.
I'm asking about you. Did you not continue to work there?
I missed 3 weeks of work.
Okay. So you took off, I mean, they gave you 3 weeks off?
Yes, sir.
Was it paid?
Yes, sir.
Okay. 'Cause obviously that was a traumatic thing for you to see.
Yes, sir.
And then 3 weeks later, did you go back to that site?
Yes, sir.
And was the building already fully done by then, or what was the situation?
Oh, sir. I mean, the unit was still there.
Still laying there?
Yes, sir.
Still connected to the crane?
No, sir.
Did somebody disconnected it?
I remember the crane was there or not. I know the unit was still there.
Now, you know, of course, it's still connected to the crane and it fell over.
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay, the back two hooks are still connected.
Yeah, the 2 rigid straps in the back, yes, sir.
So it wasn't fully unrigged yet, it was.
No, sir.
The rigging had not finished, right?
What do you mean rigging?
You rig up, you rig off. You rig
Yeah,
off, that happened.
No, sir.
Lift that.
We were transitioning from TNT to Waze equipment and getting it on skates.
Still on TNT's crane at that point, wasn't it?
The 2 hooks in the back, yes, sir.
We talked about JSA. I want to look at Plans Exhibit 21 that's in evidence. And go to page 2, Carlos. And Carlos, would you bring up the top that has the task to be performed?
Which JSA is it, sir? You didn't tell me. You just said the JSA.
Sure, Ramon, what was going on at the time David LaRue was crushed was setting the air handlers up on the 4th floor, is that right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And you,
Okay, it was the JSA from that morning.
so you participated in JSA then, right?
This is, I never seen this document.
And here's the question, did you participate in a JSA with TNT for that job that was being done when David LaRue was killed?
No, sir.
You should have, right?
The companies have their own JSAs. I wasn't involved in any of the pre-meetings, I guess.
Are you saying that nobody
'Cause
from your
in
company,
order to have a JSA, we have to group together and talk about what's going on.
and a JSA for a lift is run by the crane operator, isn't it?
I'm not sure of their practices.
When we see here, we can see that, they list personnel here in the middle of the bottom part of the page. No. Personnel, if applicable, list names and spaces. It lists, one of the things that's important, would you agree, with 12 years of experience? Is that what you have?
Yes, sir.
It's important for everybody to know what their job is.
That role that day, yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you're doing a lift. Because lifts can be very dangerous, can they not?
Yes, sir.
And so it's important to know who's in charge, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we're looking, that's why when you do these JSAs, it lists who's doing what typically. That's
Yes, sir.
And here we have a JSA that lists that. We have,
But a JSA will list everything hazards and, what's hazardous and what's not hazardous and, ways to eliminate those hazards.
yeah, but that's all part of doing it is to,
Correct.
let's try to figure out what the risks are. Let's try to lessen or eliminate them.
Yes, sir.
So what we have here is, and part of that is making sure everybody knows what their job is. Right?
Yes, sir.
Here we have a supervisor, Manny, and you don't know who that was, do you?
No, sir.
I mean, I showed you who he was on the screen, but you don't remember that guy from Adam, do you?
Ever talk to him?
And it has,
I'm not letting go. Mr. Busby goes.
What's your objection, Counselor?
It's not relevant because he was at that meeting and he just testified. He's never seen this car.
You have a response?
yes, Your Honor, this is a meeting that he's done many times. He should have, admits he should have been in this meeting, so I'm entitled to explore it.
I'm gonna allow some leeway. You can add whatever else you want for record purposes, Mr. Kim. All right, overruled. Go ahead.
Okay, so what we have, the signal person, and you see that name Juan, that was correct, wasn't it?
Juan? I mean, I didn't know Juan's name. Usually don't go over there unless you're meeting in the morning. I mean, I didn't meet with nobody that morning.
But
We
you-
were just up on the 4th floor.
Right. That was the guy, Juan, that was great to operate, the signal, wasn't it?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I think so. I mean,
But you never saw this guy Manny, this, who's listed as supervisor on the 4th floor, did you?
I never met any of TNT's employees prior to this lift.
I hear you. That's not my question. Just want for the jury's sake to know that, not that you met him, that's not the point. That he was never on the 4th floor that you ever saw, was it?
I mean, you're saying that he's a operator, right? Or supervisor or something?
Saying that it lists him as supervisor, and the question is, did you ever see the supervisor of this lift on the 4th floor?
I can't recall.
Okay. And lists here a guy named Mario as rigger. Did you ever see a TNT rigger named Mario, which would be this fella right here, is why I got his face, on the 4th floor? You ever see him on the 4th floor before David LaRue was killed?
No, sir.
And did you participate in this JSA?
No, sir.
And let's go down to the people that did. Were there people out there from a company called P&H Mechanical?
I'm not sure.
You remember a guy named Julian Garza?
Yeah, I remember Julian Garza.
Okay, and he worked for P&H Mechanical, didn't
Julian Garza? No, he worked for Way.
he? Okay, do you see his name here? Julian Garza?
Yes, sir.
And you remember him on the job site?
Yes, sir.
Did you ever see him on the 4th floor when this thing fell over and killed David LaRue?
No, sir.
Okay.
What did I ever, what was your question?
Did you ever see him on the 4th floor before this unit fell over and killed David LaRue?
In the morning, I mean, he helped us take stuff up there.
Okay, was it up
Set up.
there at the time this thing fell over and killed David LaRue?
No, sir.
Okay. Do you recognize any of these other gentlemen that were at the job site? You recognize their names?
No, sir.
And you don't even know who PH Mechanical is?
No, sir.
You believe that Julian worked for WEG, you said?
Yes, sir.
Do you recall participating in a JSA before this lift that killed David LaRue?
No, sir.
Let's look at TNT Exhibit 21, which is an evidence. Now, when you've participated in JSAs before, do you typically sign them electronically?
No, sir.
How do you sign them?
On site?
Did you guys look at that link I gave you for this lawyer? He really is a big deal. He's a big deal.
Okay, there's not a computer here, put your name in?
No, sir. I mean, well, the industry's changed, so to do it with paper, sometimes the foreman out there will have tablets.
Okay, that's what I was asking.
Okay, but sometimes they print them out, so.
Because when we look at plaintiff's exhibit, or I'm sorry, defense exhibit 21, and we turn the page, we see your signature here, don't we?
I don't see my signature there.
You don't see your signature in those signatures?
No, sir.
Okay. So your testimony is that you did not sign this document?
I don't see my signature there.
You remember participating in a JSA?
No, sir.
Let's go to TNT 97, you go to the last page and pull up the signatures. Got a microphone, glass, let's see. The last page, please. Second to last page, signatures. Bring up the signatures, please. Make them as big as you can. Do you see your signature here?
No, sir.
Okay. You can see the name David LaRue here, can we not?
I don't know what that says.
You can't read that, says David LaRue.
Okay.
I'm just asking,
I can see it, but I don't know what it says.
can you see what this says?
There's like chicken scratch, all of it.
So you can't read that chicken scratch? You can't read that at all.
No, sir.
Is that not your signature?
No, sir.
Not at all?
No, sir.
So you would say, I don't recall ever participating in a JSA for this lift. Is that true?
I don't recall that.
Okay. So you can't tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury whether you participated in a JSA for the lift that was going on at the time David LaRue was killed. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Can't say that you did or not.
No. No, I could say that because one never took place that I remember.
You don't remember one.
No, sir.
Can you read this word here? You know somebody named Billy Baldwin?
I know Billy. I didn't know his last name was Baldwin, but I know Billy.
No, is this a good place to break or no?
Sure. If you want to break for the day, we'll have this witness back tomorrow. It's 5:10. The defense has no objections. We'll break for the day. All right. We'll begin tomorrow. I'll ask the jury to be here at 8:45. We want to begin at 9 a.m. tomorrow.
All right.
Where's the
1 second, once the jury leaves, I'm gonna mileage.
Well, you know.
And there it is.
Page 87. Line 7. According to Baldwin, I was in the process of moving the chain from the come along. And as I did that, I spun around and saw the unit kind of shimmy. My question to you is, do you agree with Baldwin that no one was using the come along at the time that this unit tipped and fell? Or do you know?
Can you repeat the question, please?
I thought you told the jury that somebody was cranking on the come along when this thing fell. It sounds like you don't know if they were or not. True?
Billy Baldwin was operating that come along.
Didn't ask whether he was operating at any point in time. I'm asking about the time it fell. Do you know whether at the time it fell he was operating to come along?
I don't know. I was looking at the skates.
Okay, that's all I was getting at.
Let's.
Now, if the certified or qualified rigger on the fourth floor who has the radio is told or asked to cable up or hoist up, and he believes it to be unsafe, he should not do it. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
So I'm correct.
Yes, sir.
But he's the rigger.
I mean,
He's the guy qualified to know whether it's unsafe or safe. Isn't that right?
He has a decision, yes, sir.
Yeah, he has a decision to make to whether somebody says, hey, we need it up 3 or 4 inches. And if he's the certified rigger and the qualified rigger and he has the radio, he's the guy that has to decide whether that request was safe or not safe. Isn't that right?
Given the responsibility, I would think so, yes, sir.
Okay. And that guy was TNT. Isn't that true?
Yes, sir.
That's what's.
That guy from TNT to making
Yeah, but this guy's not better. This guy is at the opposite end.
his orders and commands from who?
Mr. Laurie,
And who did Mr. Loretta work for?
Way Engineering.
Did you at any time on that day see Mr. Garcia, the TNT signal person, give any orders or any directions to any way mechanical or what, any way engineering employee on the force?
No, sir.
That wasn't his responsibility, was it?
No, sir.
Who placed Mr. Garcia where he was standing?
David Laurie, actually.
And you heard the question from the plaintiffs just now about how Mr. Garcia was the only person who could talk to the crane operator, right?
Yes, sir.
That's his job, isn't it?
I'm not sure what his job was. I mean, he was up there to communicate to the groundsman
And
as of
anything,
what I saw.
and what he was communicating to the grounds person, those instructions and commands came from whom?
David Laurie.
That's the witness.
Can we look at plaintiff's exhibit 51, which is in evidence? You heard counsel use these words, commands and orders. Remember him using those over and over?
Who's that?
The lawyer that was just questioning you.
Oh,
used
yes,
the
sir.
words commands and orders
Okay.
multiple times, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's look at it. Can you put 51 on the screen, please? Sorry. And can you go down to the bottom and just show us who wrote this document? You see that name there? You see the name Juan Garcia?
Okay.
You see it?
I see it.
Okay, I just want to look up here. The last 3 sentences. And just tell me what this word right here. We talk about commands and orders. Let's see what this word, tell us what that word says.
Where at?
Right there. Can you highlight the word ask? Can you just read what that says?
Cable up about 3 to 4 inches.
Right here, where he highlighted it.
Ask the cable up.
Say that word again.
Ask the cable up.
Okay. Doesn't use the word command or order, does it?
No, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor. That's switch.
Z.
Asked and ordered. Whose mouth did it come out of?
If you're asked by somebody, I would assume that it'd come out of somebody else's mouth.
Who?
Uh,
Who asked Mr. Garcia?
if according to his document, if it came from if he was asked something, it came from Mr. Laurie. I would suppose.
One last instance, little math problem. You remember we were talking about how much we were reimbursing.
Yes, sir.
Objection outside the scope. Outside the scope.
I'm gonna allow it overruled. Go ahead.
And you know that plaintiffs estimated that for 2 days, your reimbursement on $600.
I'm not sure, but I mean, he said a number. I didn't really pay attention. I have to do the math and look at my.
Isn't it really closer to $830 for 2 days?
Something. I mean,
Sustain, stop. Don't answer the question. Sustain.
What do you believe that your wages that you earned for 2 days that you being recompensated for is?
I believe he said something like 2,000. That was a little outrageous. More in the lines that what you said. It seemed normal.
One last question. Have I asked you I'll withdraw it. I'll pass it to Ms. John.
Are you turning in per diem?
Per diem,
No, to TNT?
per diem for TNT? What do you mean? We only get per diem if we're outside of radius,
Are you outside the radius?
of San Antonio? Yes, sir.
Are you turning in per diem to TNT?
Wasn't told. I mean, I don't know.
You don't know what they're gonna pay you.
Just, I was asked to provide a check stub. That's all I provided.
Okay, I just want to be clear because it sounds like when I asked you, I was just doing the math based on $36 an hour. That's what you told me, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are they paying you hourly to do this?
Yes, sir. I mean,
And how many hours are you gonna bill them?
I have no idea.
So you don't know what they're gonna.
Whatever days of work I miss.
Okay, so if you miss one, you may be here an hour, but you've missed an entire day of work today, right? Right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so even though you may have only been with us this morning, for an hour, you missed an entire day of work.
Yes, sir.
So you're gonna get your full 8 hours today. That's what you expect.
I mean, I lost that.
So I'm not quibbling with you. I'm trying to get a number. That's all.
Okay.
You're gonna charge them $36 an hour for the entire day. 8 hours or 10?
I don't decide that.
So whatever they give you, you're just gonna take it.
Of course, I mean, I'm not at work. You can't go. I mean, what are you asking me? Would I want to be paid? I'm not sure.
Understand, I never have a chance to talk to you. This is my only opportunity. And I'm entitled to know what they're paying you to be here. I'm just trying to find out. You told me yesterday it's $36 an hour.
For missing work.
I understand, you can keep saying that, but I understand you're missing work.
Okay.
I'm trying to figure out how many hours you're charging this company TNT.
I'm not charging them nothing. I mean, they're just compensating for me for my miss of work.
Right, they're gonna pay you money,
That's what lost wages is.
okay? And so it's been 3 days so far, right? Okay, and you work 12 hours a day, 10 hours a day, what?
12 hours a day.
Okay, and you get paid $36 an hour,
Yes, sir.
and you missed 3 days,
Yes, sir.
so that's 36 hours.
Okay.
I'm asking, is that
Yes, sir.
36 hours?
Yes, sir.
12 times 3, is that 36?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's right, correct?
Correct.
So we want to know how much they're gonna pay you, is 36 hours times $36 an hour, is that right?
That's what you're asking?
That's not me, I'm not paying you anything.
Oh,
I'm asking, is that what you're gonna charge them?
yes, sir.
Okay, 36, so you're charging them $1,296,
Okay.
is that right?
I haven't done the math.
I just did the math,
Okay.
36 hours, $36 an hour.
Your Honor, objection, he's badgering with.
Overruled.
So I'm just trying to get you to tell me what you claim your lost wages are, so we'll know what they're paying you.
My rate, 36 and some change,
Okay.
for a work day, which would be 12 hours.
Okay, so 12 hours and is it a 3 full work days or more?
Today would be considered a whole work day since I'm not at work and I won't be able to go to work.
You didn't answer my question. Is it 3 full work days?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so it's $36 an hour times 36, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so they owe you $1,296 for your time, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Let's fly it back.
Yes, sir.
Did they pay for your meals last night?
Yes, sir.
Where'd you eat?
I don't know, the restaurant.
Steakhouse right there near the Marriott?
Yes, sir.
Which one was it?
I don't remember the
Was it
name.
Dick and Anthony's?
Yes, sir.
I thought so. Did you have yourself a steak?
I did.
Who was with you?
The PI?
The guy I saw going through, security with you this morning?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what about the night before? Where'd you eat?
Across the street?
From the Marriott?
Yes, sir.
Oh, you went over there to, what's that thing called? The one that has the upstairs bar?
I don't know. I didn't go upstairs.
Okay.
I'm not familiar with these restaurants.
Right. That's what it's on.
No questions, Your Honor.
Is there any reason this witness can't be excused at this time?
Not from our position, Your Honor.
Is he excused and not subject to recall?
Yes, Your Honor.
Plaintiff's counsel?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you for coming, sir. You are excused.
Thank you.
Ms. Wish to call as their next witness?
Your Honor, we will be submitting Mr. Montalongo, the other injured individual's deposition cuts to the jury.
How long is this?
48 minutes and 32 seconds, Your Honor.
Do you guys need a break or we're good to go? Right, right. 10 minutes.
All right, the jury.
10:07, 10:17 to the jury. 10:17.
Of course, this happens. Cats ripped my whole green screen down. I'm trying to fix it. And of course, it happens. Where is everybody? How did everybody leave the courtroom? Is this just a short break? Oh, we're going back into another deposition, I think. I'm looking. Got it. 42 to 48 minutes long. I'm looking for them to stand up for the jury.
So these skates did not have,
I went past it.
please.
A form.
There we go. Okay, I have to fix my green screen. I'll be right back.
Yes, sir. Francisco Emanuel Montelongo.
Hi, Mr. Montalongo, how are you? I know this has been long already, and I'm gonna try and keep this as brief as I can, okay? You and I have never met, well, we ever talked to each other, have we?
No, ma'am.
Mr. Bergen asked you several questions about a statement. And it's your testimony today, if I'm understanding you correctly, that you have never read, written, or seen this statement until, correct?
Which statement I was talking about?
The handwritten statement, let's go ahead and put it up, please, and see if this refreshes your memory.
The one I did on the hospital?
Yes, sir. Have you ever seen this before today?
Miss Fabiana showed it to me right before the meeting. I wasn't able to understand also that because the handwriting is very hard to read.
Okay, that's fair enough. I'd like to go through some of the statements with you, sir, that are contained in here, and I'd just like to know if you can explain them to me or, if you agree with them still, all right? One of the first things on the first page, it says Tuesday, David LaRue told Anthony Ramon to get there earlier to start setting up. I wasn't told nothing until Wednesday about 7 a.m. about flying the units onto the 4th floor. Is that accurate? Do you still agree with that statement?
I can partially agree with it. I don't remember the time specifically, but I do remember being on all the units being from the same day.
Okay, that's fair enough. So we can both agree that until the day of the incident, you did not know that you would be assisting in these units being unrigged on the 4th floor. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Further down in that statement, approximately 2 more lines, it says, started gathering chain balls and skates and come-alongs. Were you in charge or were you responsible, I guess would be a better way to put it, for gathering the equipment for the 4th floor?
I was not responsible myself, he was team member.
Okay, so other people assisted you from one of the way entities in gathering the chain falls, skates, and tomahawks. Is that fair?
That is fair.
And then it says cut some wood to put on top of the skates. Do you see that?
Yes, ma'am.
Why in the world were you cutting wood to put on top of skates?
Because of the edge of the building, they, put up some, a form.
You have sound. Oops. You can hear this, right? You can hear what's going on, right?
And that was obstructing the, I guess, the entrance of it. In other words, the edge of the building wasn't straight flat. It had like a little obstruction, like a little, I wanna call it a, what do you call the side of the building?
A curb?
Yeah, curve. Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's okay. So that curb was made out of what?
I don't remember if it was poured already, but there was food on it either.
So I'm gonna show you some photographs, and I'm gonna ask you if this is what you are talking about. Go ahead, I'm showing you what had previously been marked as way. Base number 0001158, and we're gonna make this defense exhibit 1 your definition, sir. Is that, the form or the curve that you were talking about, Mr. Montalongo, as depicted in this picture?
Yes,
All right, and will you agree with me now that you've looked at this photograph that the actual cement curve had not been made, and this was actually a form for concrete that would eventually be poured, is that correct?
I cannot see if it's been poured or not yet.
Okay, but right now, that is wood that is against the barrier of this wall, correct?
That is correct.
And do you know who placed that barrier on the 4th floor, who constructed that?
I'm guessing the mason or not sure.
So you weren't there when that form was, or that the barrier, was constructed, is that fair?
Yeah, I wasn't there.
So you're telling me that one of the reasons you needed to put wood onto skates is that, needed to clear the perimeter of that barrier, is that accurate?
Yes, sir.
And why is that?
Because we needed to get the unit inside the building by parts and needed to clear it down. It wouldn't go all the way.
Alright, so it was important that your skates, that you were using on this day be higher than the framing that existed, correct?
Yes, sir, just high enough so it won't be too off the ground.
High enough so that the unit doesn't
Yeah.
actually, high enough that the HVAC unit being lifted in doesn't catch on the barrier, is that fair?
That is fair.
And why is it that taller or higher skates were not ordered instead of using this wood?
I am not sure.
You would agree with me that it would have been a safer practice had taller skates been used for this job, correct?
It would have been safer if we were lower to the ground.
It would have. Not the, but it was an unsafe practice, wasn't it, Mr. Montalongo, to stack wood and expect a 2-ton unit to sit on wood on top of a moving skate? Did you think that was safe?
At the moment, I didn't thought it was safe, but since we worked on the first one and it was successful the first time, I thought it was safe. At first I didn't, after the fact that we did one, then I thought.
Fair enough. Looking at it now, Mr. Montalongo, do you think that that was the safest way to accomplish the job you were doing out there? And I'm not blaming you, I'm just asking. Would it have been safer to have different types of skates out there?
Yes,
And where did this wood come from that you were, that the crew was piling on top of these skates?
I am not sure. I am not sure. We did cut the wood, but I am sure where it came
And were you responsible for, were you sent out there to cut this wood to put on top of the skates?
from. Me and Mr. Neil Walton, we got it there. Yes.
Okay. And who told you to go out and, cut the wood to put on top of these skates?
David Lori.
Do you know who made the decision to use the wood on top of the skates?
Not sure who made the decision. Donna.
That it was Mr. LaRee who told you to go cut the wood for the skates, is that correct?
That is correct.
And did you also cut some steel pipe for out there?
Yes, ma'am.
What were you using the steel pipe for?
That will be from Rowley Union.
So wait.
We will put the steel pipe on the ground, and then the unit is rolled to it, on top of it.
So this was to get it from the skates onto the platforms, cement platforms that had been poured for where the units were eventually supposed to sit?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you know who made the decision to roll a 2-ton using steel pipe onto a cement platform?
I'm not sure.
And who told you to cut the pipe for this rolling exercise?
David Lori.
Did you hear anyone tell Mr. LaRee to stack the skates with wood to make them high enough to clear the barrier of the form?
I don't remember nobody telling David to do that. And I'm not sure if somebody did.
But as you sit here today, under oath, you know that it was Mr. LaRee who told you to put that wood on top of the, or cut the wood from top of the skates. Is that fair?
Can you repeat the question?
Sure. It's your testimony that it was Mr. LaRee who told you to cut the wood to place it on top of these skates. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yeah.
And we'll stay on around this photo. And we will mark, waive case number 001158, defense exhibit 2 to your deposition. All right, so going back to your statement for a minute, if we could, which is exhibit 1. Oh, back up, please. If you will go approximately halfway down page 1 of your statement, since we get it up, I'd like to ask you a few more questions.
I had the chainsaw in my hand earlier today.
All right, if you will see.
I didn't use it. I decided to cut away. I had to cut away some of the stuff with a saw before I can get the chainsaw down to the bottom. So today I was sawing, and I also took that same saw that I used on the bushes outside, trees, and I cut down part of the ceiling in my kitchen with it. Yeah, I did, because I have a leak, and the leak went through the drywall, and now the drywall needs to go, and I have to fix the leak.
Going to work on level 4. After that, me and Julian flew the pallet of materials equipment to level 4. Do you see that? Okay. And how did you fly the materials and equipment to level 4?
We use a problem.
Okay, so you use the forklift to bring those up
Toilet
to
leak.
level 4, correct?
That is correct.
Did you have to use
I turned it off. On Thursday, I'm gonna have to install one of those wax, plumbing.
the skates at all?
It's fine. It's easy. It's just heavy.
Portion of the job?
No.
At the bottom of the page, you talk about you were waiting around 11 or 11:45 for the cable railing to be removed. You recall that?
Smells like shit.
Yeah, I recall, yes. Not sure of the time frame, but yeah, they had to.
And there's
take the
Bill.
cable with their hand.
All right. And it would be fair to say that there was no way to raise either of the HVAC units to the fourth floor with the cable railing in place, correct?
Yeah, they take about 36 inches out of the opening.
And it would also be fair to say that that occurred per your statement before you took lunch 11 to 11:45. Is that about right?
I don't remember the time frame.
I don't know why they play depositions in front of juries because nobody can pay attention to them. I'm unbearably interested in this trial. I'm loving it, and I can't follow the deposition. However, it's been a couple hours. We've been at it for 2 hours with no break. Well, I took a break to fix my green screen. Hopefully it's fixed. Look, I even used a tool. So anyway, oh, I forgot. What is today? Today is Tuesday. Ah, that sucks, guys. Today's Tuesday, which means I don't stream tomorrow. I am streaming after Bill's stream tonight, though. So after Bill's done streaming, Bill, when you're done streaming, I'm going to finish a divorce case. So I will stream tomorrow, depending on how long the divorce lasts. I don't know. It could be another 10 minutes in this hearing. It could be another 4 hours. Who knows? We won't know until tomorrow. And I'm so nervous. I think I'll be fine, but I work a double and I have to get this trial while I'm at work. I think it'll be fine. I'm also really. No, I'm not starting at 8 o'clock. You're starting at 8 o'clock. I'm also really nervous about the trial that we're watching right now. So, first off, Mr. Kim, was it? He's never made an appearance. He's just not on the list of lawyers at all. There's Busby. He's the superstar. There's Emily and Susan. So it must be the blonde haired and the brunette that we barely hear speak. Way Engineering has a lawyer in this, but I don't know who he is. I wonder if he's this guy right here. Maybe. And then there's, okay, Barnes, the general contractor, has an employee there. I don't understand because this, if you look at this summary, or you could just look at this, it is Mrs. Lori versus TNT rigging. There are no other that I can see cases. But if you look at the parties, we have Way Engineering as a defendant, TNT a cross plaintiff, interesting, and a defendant. McCorvey Sheet Metal is Way, I think. Hold on. McCorvey Sheet Metal, oh no, SCG is, I don't remember who McCorvey is. Oh, that has to be Way Mechanical because it's the HVAC unit. This is just so confusing. I know. But here's what I wanted to show you. Friday, they started deliberating. Today, again, refreshed all day long. Refresh, refresh, refresh. I've sat here for 2 straight days now and just refreshed, refreshed, refreshed. Not recording any cord on that whole computer because I'm just refreshing to make sure I get the verdict in this. They are still in trial. So I don't think I missed the verdict. There's no verdict yet. I keep looking. Jury is deliberating. They started on the 9th. I know that this doesn't update it instantly, but I don't think I missed the verdict yet. I just don't. Because really, I just have been sitting there refreshing, refreshing, refreshing. Tomorrow I work a double. So I'm really worried about tomorrow. Like, I really just almost want to call in sick, which I would never do. I just can't imagine a world where I call in sick for work. But I'm scared I'm going to miss this. It's okay. I'm going to bring my computer to work with me, and I'm going to record the divorce here while I'm at work and record and refresh this while I'm at work. It'll be fine if I don't get it. Let's just say I'm serving a table and I don't get the verdict. It'll be published. It'll be published here. It'll probably make the news because it'll probably be for millions of dollars. And usually things that he do, they seem to make the news, right, Bill? Bill and this attorney are buddies. Mm-hmm. Bill, everybody hates Anthony, Bill. I mean, not just a little bit of hate. The hate for Anthony was pouring from the chat and getting all over my desk. In fairness, Bill, he is sort of an asshole. I mean, he's pretty bad. I want to see the rest of his cases now. I wonder if they're they have to be. They have to be cross-suing, and that's why they're defendants. That's why they're defendants. So, yep, CJ, you're right. CJ just nailed it right on the head. Okay, so the parties. She is suing them. Okay? And then they are plaintiffs against Way and McCorvey and Barnes. That's them. And SCG and I guess that's Thomas, right? I'm going to try to find more of his cases. His cases, I mean, the link is, he has some huge cases, guys. He is a big freaking deal. This attorney is, that I'm showing you, that I'm giving to you, that you can't see nowhere else. You just can't. All right. Thank you so much for coming out. We're automatically going to get popped over to OJ, which Mark Furman is about to take the stand within the next couple days, which I think apparently is the best part of the trial. So in the next couple days, we get to Mark Furman, and I can't wait. Anyway, have a great day, guys. Thank you so much. See ya.
Got these life echoes, digital dreams. Through the screen, her blue eyes gleam. Wicked humor, sharp as a knife. Her stream sparks electric light. Late night when the world sleeps, she's the friend that always keeps. Giggles roll like thunder loud. She stands out in any crowd. Kathy's laugh cuts through the gloom. Eyes blue like a summer's bloom. Her humor dark and twisted, sharp. In a way Coffee's life.